Finally got around to watching season 2, episode 2 of Invincible, and you know, we got to talk about it because they just can't miss. Quick warning that I am going to be recapping the entire episode and giving my honest spoiler-filled thoughts of the episode. So if you're not trying to be spoiled, make sure you drop a like, follow, come back later because I need to hear your thoughts. But we pick up this episode on graduation day for everybody. But of course, Cecil's got Mark on call, and he's got to deal with the situation in Washington, D.C. with Doc Seismic, who creates these wannabe heat blast fucking minions. But I mean, for real, they copied my whole fucking flow! Who Mark disposes of real quick, but he only got a nosebleed. And then he also disposes of Doc Seismic's old ass real quick. Like, Doc, what's stopping you from shaving this? Like, let it go. Mark makes it back to graduation just on time, throws his hat into the sky, and I thought it was funny. I got a little chuckle when he sauced that bitch to fucking outer space. And then we got the Invincible title card, which is slowly cracking like this blue color. I haven't read the books, but this is supposedly really significant. Mark and the crew have a nice little hangout at Adam Eve's place. We pick back up at NASA where Russ, if you don't remember, is actually a Martian now. He's having trouble adjusting to his new environment. He's like on edge at all times. When he has a breakdown in the bathroom, his superior is like, look, man, just take some time off. Take a leave of absence. If all it takes is having a breakdown in the bathroom to get a paid leave of absence, shit, I'm gonna start doing that shit expeditiously. Cut to Adam Eve, who's helping rebuild Chicago. She actually ends up pissing off some construction workers, but the people of the city got her back, which is when she gets a call from her parents to go home. Mark and Debbie are still having issues reconnecting. She's trying to plan a beach trip for Mark, but he's on call with Cecil. Where Debbie essentially says, look, you don't have to prove that you're better than your father. No one thinks you're gonna end up being like him, which obviously kind of pisses Mark off, and he storms off. When we get some drama at the Guardians of the Globe, looks like Duplicate is getting some of that immortal cop, where we pick up with Russ Livingston looking at a news report where they're honoring the Martian man, and he gets an idea. Mark's next mission is to investigate some Darkwing sighting, where it looks like someone is posing as Darkwing because Omni-Man fucking killed him. This new Darkwing ends up being Darkwing's Robin. They get into a little scrap-a-doodle-doo, where Mark's like, damn, I actually felt that punch. I thought that shit was funny. He sends Mark into like this weird dimension thing, but he scares him by saying he's Omni-Man's son and wins that psychological battle, knocking this wannabe out. Elsewhere, Debbie confronts Cecil about his overuse of Mark and not letting him be a kid, which is when Donald walks in and she's flabbergasted because she saw Nolan kill him. Cecil, of course, tries to brush this away so Donald doesn't find out too. Back at home, her parents, specifically her dad, doesn't like the fact that she's making all this money and stuff for them to not have to worry about it. He wants to actually work for a living. Mark and Amber get some nice sweet alone time where he flies her to the Eiffel Tower, albeit in Vegas, but then he gets a call. Man's on call. Cecil tells Mark that in order for them to stay cool with the Atlanteans because Omni-Man killed Aquarius, he has to make amends with them since he is Omni-Man's son. Cecil tells Mark that he has to marry the queen. And Mark's like, am I gonna have to fuck? Mark's gonna find out one way or another as he goes with the Atlanteans. Back at the GDA, they got a Lizard League problem, so they call in the Guardians of the Globe to take them out. When they notice a Rex doppelganger, turns out it's the Shapesmith, who yes, is Russ Livingston, realizing that he can live in this world as a superhero. Back in Atlantis, Mark is greeted by the Queen of Atlantis. Of course, at this point, this man's like, damn, I gotta marry her, fuck it. I gotta tell her what it is. I can't do her. I have a girlfriend. He looks at him like, we ain't savages. You updated that barbarian fucking thing years ago. Instead, I need you to fight this thing. And Mark's like, fuck, thank God. I want me to fight that little thing. It turns out to look like a little ass seahorse. Wrestles it a little bit, fucking puts it in a chokehold, until he realizes it's like that fish from Finding Nemo. And he's got much bigger problems as this thing goes on a fucking rampage. Cecil's like, yeah, this wasn't part of the plan, just get out of there. But Mark starts seeing these innocent Atlanteans start dying, and he's like, I gotta do something. And Cecil tells him, look, you're not your dad, just get out of there. And I love this. Mark's like, yeah, you're right, I'm not my dad, which is why I'm going back there. Flies at like 1,000 miles per hour and fucking cracks the shell of this Kraken. He really did some damage, which is when he starts beating the shit out of this Kraken, tosses it into a pit, but he gets dragged with it. But we're all okay because we pick up with Mark washing up on a beach when Cecil tells him, look, you saved the queen's life, so we're all good with the Atlanteans now. Cecil orders Donald to pick up the sound of that Kraken's yell, probably make a weapon out of it. When Donald asks Cecil about Debbie's reaction to seeing him, Cecil again brushes it off. Back with Adam Eve and her parent, her dad doesn't like the fact that she's trying to help out Chicago because she says she's more dangerous than she is good. Trifling ass dad. Pick up with Debbie, who's having a fucking breakdown again, and you would think she was a superhero the way she ripped this cupboard door off. Mark discovers her and tries to comfort her, but Debbie kind of pushes him away before finally letting him embrace her. Love this little sweet moment. Back with the Guardians and Shapesmith, he tries to explain his origin, which he lies about because we all know what really happened, but he's most likely a new member of the Guardians of the Globe, which is when we pick back up with the League of Lizard when the Supreme Lizard gets shot in the head by King Lizard, who is officially back. This is where the episode ends until we get a post-credit scene of a universe that was able to stop Invincible and Omni-Man. We know this is a different universe because we get a Cecil and Donald variance. He tells him about he's going to give Invincible some vengeance or walking through a portal because obviously he don't care about this one. He wants our Mark. But yeah, another pretty great episode. Invincible is just slowly climbing the rings of my favorite comic book movie shows of all time. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and as always, like and follow for more.